Honorable members, I want to welcome you to this afternoon sitting.
On Tuesday, 5th September 2023, the Speaker, Anita Among, called for heightened vigilance as security agencies report of plots by terrorists to attack Uganda.
Over the weekend, our security agents foiled a suspect terror attack that was at the Cathedral Pastor Kayanja's church in Kampala. But then we were fortunate enough that it did not kill anybody, and we thank our security personnel for that vigilance. I want to commend the security personnel so much. And I also want to ask members and the public to avoid being in congested areas and be vigilant in wherever you are, so that we don't fall victims.
Right Honorable, the challenge is these police officers that we have in our area, Right Honorable, they are not facilitated. I have a police post, Right Honorable, but the OC doesn't have a motorcycle. There is nothing. She's one. The next police post is around 15 kilometers. Can we have really police come to the rest of these people, give motorcycles, put fuel?
We benefit a lot from tourism. When we had COVID, we lost a lot of income as a country. Now, when we keep talking about bombs in Kampala, not going to public places, we are now scaring away tourists, and this is going to hurt our economy, which is already being affected by the inflation and rise of fuel prices. So I think we need to be conscious about this matter and not create serious alarms.
We demand that the minister in charge of security appears here and explains before Parliament really adjourns. Why should we tell our voters when we leave this place?
During the sitting, the Minister of State for Energy, Honorable Sidronius Okaasai, made a statement to the House on the unmitigated spike in fuel prices, which left many MPs unconvinced.
Uganda is operating a liberalized fuel market. It means the supply and the demand determine the price of petroleum products in our country, and this is by law. Our law of 2003, and it's also in our regulations of 2009, where we liberalized the supply of petroleum products. Global factors actually impact on fuel prices. We can, as a country, play a little role in determining the fuel prices. Demand, which was driven by strong consumption during the summer season in Europe and United States, actually created a reduction of supplies and then the prices. This surge in demand is a significant factor contributing to rising fuel prices globally, not only in Uganda. Exchange rate fluctuations have influenced the fuel prices, especially in our country.
Government worth its name should come here and explain what happened to the reserves. What are the solutions to the citizens who are suffering with the fuel? The motion, Madam Speaker, which comes without notice under this rule, is that this Parliament rejects this statement and orders the Minister to return with a statement that gives solutions.
Those in favor of that motion say and the contrary nay. The nays have it. You need to do your regulatory role as government, and then we need to have buffers locally for us to be able to manage these external shocks. As a Minister of Energy, we need stable supply.
Also in the sitting, the Minister for Local Government, Honorable Raphael Majezi, confirmed that Parliament's guidelines on the utilisation of the 1 billion shillings for road maintenance have been circulated to all local governments.
Right Honourable Speaker, we'd like to thank you and to thank Parliament for the decision you took on the road maintenance grant, the 1 billion shillings per district. We fully agreed with Parliament, and we've issued a circular directing the local governments to implement. We've also developed an action paper for each resolution guiding the local governments in line with my responsibility under Section 95 of the Local Government Act, so that they know under each resolution what are the concrete actions to take?
Therefore, I would want to invite the minister to liaise with the Minister of Works, who should put Uganda Road Fund Secretariat to notice so that they can further guide if there are things to guide on. And for this money to be utilized, Madam Speaker, Ministry of Finance should be able to open up their system to enable local governments upload any revised work plans. And this has not been done. So it would therefore require some multi-sectoral approach, which I believe the Minister for Local Government can coordinate.
On Wednesday, 6th September 2023, the Speaker hastily adjourned the House due to the absence of government ministers to conduct House business.
How do we handle a House? Members have issues. How do we handle a House without ministers? How? I am not sure that we are going to continue like this. I think I need to talk to executive on this matter. If this House is meant for only members of Parliament, then let's be told that's meant for members of Parliament. If we are supposed to have ministers that represent executive, then you should have ministers on this front bench. Let's adjourn the House until we have this issue resolved.
On Thursday, 7th September 2023, the Speaker Anita Among directed the Office of the Prime Minister to conduct an independent investigation into the utilization of 1.9 billion shillings allocated for the purpose of coffee consumption.
I just wanted to seek clarification from both the Chair and the Minister. Whether I heard you well, Mr. Chair, that 20 billion Uganda shillings was spent on Ugandans just to teach them on how to take coffee. Could you please take us through?
Yes, 20 billion Uganda shillings was expended by the Office of the Prime Minister to promote the drinking of coffee by building coffee kiosks across the country. The finding of the committee, we have made specific findings on how far the partner went in implementing this, and we came up with the conclusion: one, that they are not there. Number two, we came with the observation that it was actually an unnecessary expenditure.
Inspire Africa coffee shop in Gulu was closed because they failed to pay rent for the shop. But it was meant to be youth project.
Personally, I've ever consumed the coffee from Inspired Africa. One, Nimbali. It was there, and they used to employ youth. Whoever gave money for purposes of teaching people how to take coffee, then I did not benefit from it because nobody taught me. I just bought and took without anyone teaching me.
Okay.
So that money was misused.
I think it's a very serious invitation to the House that wherever these kind of social action programs are brought here for funding, we undertake more elaborate scrutiny as to vote and purpose, and take more interest in how the common person is going to take a benefit.
We need that money, that Nagata expenditure. Person responsible for it should bear the liability. And we need serious investigation on that.
During the sitting, lawmakers called on the Ministry of Energy to address the recurring countrywide power surges, which they said has affected several businesses.
Umeme no longer replaces transformers. Umeme no longer services the power lines. Umeme does not invest in infrastructure anymore. And yet, Right Honorable Speaker, according to the concession agreement, government and the Ugandans continue to meet their part of the obligations. Right Honorable Speaker, the people that I represent
who comprise those that live in the CBD of Soroti district, most of them involved in manufacturing, industrial work, and other artisanal kind of engagements, cannot operate anymore because they don't have power to work.
As we speak today, the prices for electricity have skyrocketed, contrary to the law. Even in areas where they are supplying electricity, people can no longer afford it.
There was vandalism that happened in the line which takes power to the eastern region and northeastern. Just after Kakira, 4 pylons were actually brought down. And that caused what Honorable Wariko is talking about currently. We are putting up those pylons temporarily to enable power to flow.
You may give a response through action. How do you work on the issue of load shedding? And it's not only in Soroti or whichever place. Even here in Parliament, I can tell you now we're on a generator. Now, what about Soroti, which is far? We need a response to that through action.
Parliament tasked accounting officers of national referral hospitals to adhere to set budget guidelines in order to improve service delivery across the country.
A number of entities were noted in the report of the Auditor General to have failed to optimally absorb the funds that were allocated to them, causing money to be swept back to the Treasury. These funds were mostly meant for wage, gratuity, and pension that were not fully paid by the end of the financial year. While interacting with some of these entities, the committee discovered that majority of the affected accounting officers did not seek revision of their budget and work plans as provided for under Section 17(3) of the Public Finance Management Act 2015. The committee recommends, therefore, that accounting officers should strictly adhere to the annual budget performance contract signed with the PSST pursuant to Section 45 of the PFMA 2015.
You know, we operate a cash budget. At times we portion the way when we are releasing the money less. Simply because at the time of the quarter, you know, we release cash to the spending agencies at the beginning of a quarter. I want to assure you, it will not be repeated now that it has come to my full attention.
Honorable members, I now adjourn the House and die.